Hello, dear friends. Welcome to this program, Our Moments with God, our moments with the Word of God, our moments with the love, mercy, and compassion of God, our moments also with God's creation, especially as we will be hearing in the reading today. And my dear friends, I invite you also to share the videos with others and spend moments with God and moments with the nature so that you come closer to God through the nature and through God's beautiful creation. Thank you very much. Yes, today after the Pentecost Sunday yesterday, the first reading goes back to the book of Genesis. So there's again the normal time of the year is starting, ordinary time what we call, and the reading begins by God calling Adam, Adam, and Adam and asks him, "Where are you?" So somewhere in this beautiful creation where God had made them and entrusted the whole Garden of Eden. Probably there were such beautiful mountains there. I have no idea because nobody is exactly sure where exactly this Garden of Eden was. But what we know is that God created the universe, created the world, and then made Adam and Eve, and then he gave them certain instructions to live by. But unfortunately, Adam answers, "Yes, I heard you, Lord, but I was hiding myself because I am naked," he says. And then God asks him, "Who told you that you are naked? Did you eat the forbidden fruit that I had forbade you to eat?" And then he, of course, immediately puts the blame on Eva. He says, "The woman that you gave to me, Eva, she gave me the fruit and I ate it." And then God asks Eva. And then Eva says, "It is serpent." There was a serpent probably in one of the trees like this, where that's tree in the middle, where she went, the fruit, and the snake told the conversation you know very well, "Eva, why are you not eating? Because if you eat, you will come to know about yourself and you will know God," and etc., and all those temptations. And Eva gives into it and then she blames. One thing that very clearly comes out here is as soon as God asks Adam, Adam does not take the responsibility for his mistake. He immediately puts the blame on Eva. And Eva also is not taking the responsibility of disobedience. She is putting the blame on the snake. And this is what is coming down to us human beings from that time onwards. That instead of taking responsibility for our own mistakes, we try to find the mistake or blame on somebody else. Adam puts it on Eva, Eva puts it on the snake, and of course snake was not somebody with whom one could converse or was not taking responsibility because he didn't have conscience. Of course this is a story depicting how through disobedience we can lose our relationship with God and how we can lose the privileges that God gives us in life. Adam and Eve were given great privileges. The whole creation was there, the beautiful garden. They could do everything they wanted except eat that fruit. This is a symbolic thing to say that there are certain things God expects us to do and there are certain things that God forbids us to do. It could be against other human beings, it could be against giving false witnesses, it could be against selfishness, it could be many other things that God forbids us to do. But what do? We continue to do that and then put the blame on somebody else. That is one aspect of today's first reading. The second aspect that struck me was that both of them, they admitted that they themselves did not commit, somebody else helped them to commit a mistake or fault or sin. Adam to Eve, Eve to snake, but none of them said, "Sorry, Lord. Sorry that we disobeyed you." And I think this is another aspect of our human life with one another and with God, that we find it very difficult to say sorry to the person we might have offended, to people we might have done things against, people we might have offended. We do not easily want to say sorry. And of course, if they had said sorry, God would have certainly forgiven them. It happened also to Judas, whom we saw last week or the previous week, how Judas betrayed Jesus but did not go back to say sorry. Instead of that, he went and hung himself on a tree. He committed suicide. And that is actually suicidal. When we commit a mistake, we put the blame on somebody else and then are not prepared to say sorry, because we are putting the blame on somebody else. So our very first step is wrong. If we correct that step, we accept our fault, we become aware of our mistakes, and instead of putting the blame on somebody else, take the blame on ourselves and say sorry either to that person or to that person, meaning also the God that is responsible for our goodness and the one who forbids us to do wrong things. So let us learn from this lesson, from the reading, that we need to be obedient to God's commands and God's will, as well as enjoy this beautiful creation that God has given us. And let us share the videos with others. Thank you.